Capablanca, who was under attack throughout the match, from this position launches a single move counterattack which forces his opponent Frank Chase Marshall to resign the game because no matter what he does from this position, Capablanca, it's a forced checkmate basically in on all lines. So let's see the opening position and see how we get to this position. So if you can just hang on for 2 or 3 minutes, I'll show you some cool tactics and I'll show you how Capablanca came back to win this match actually. So this is the Raul Lopez Murphy defense is played and the bishop is attacked and the bishop retreats to a4 and you can expect b5 coming in here attacking the bishop later on. So knight to f6 by Frank James Marshall and castles on the king side Capablanca, and bishop goes to e7, and both of these are development moves looking to castle on the king side. The rook comes to e1, eyeing the black king, and the bishop is now attacked with b5. So bishop goes to b3, and black castles on the king side now, and c3 by Capablanca. So this move serves two purposes. It gives a space for this white light square bishop to go in if it's being attacked by this pawn storm on the queen side. It also allows you to push d4, attacking the center for central control to create more pressure on the center as well. So seeing this, d5 is played, creating his own attack, James Marshall. And after the pawn captured the pawn, the knight captured the pawn, and the knight capture this pawn, which only defended once basically. And the knight capture the knight, and the rook capture the knight back with a double attack on this particular knight. So basically here Marshall just moves his knight to f6, but a better move was to push your pawn over here and to keep your knight in the center where it's most active. It's highly unlikely that you will take this knight with your bishop because this is a very active bishop. You didn't want to exchange that with a knight at this point of the game. So the rook now retreats to e1 and bishop to d6 now. So as you can see, both of these bishop, the queen and the knight, are looking at the king side of Capablanca, and his queen side, all the pieces of his queen side are entirely undeveloped. It's like they don't even exist as of now. So but Capablanca showed great patience and composure, and he played h3 here, trying to prevent this knight and the bishop from coming in here, creating any threats on the queen and on the king side. But the knight to g4 is played regardless, basically. So here, if you capture this knight, the queen will come in, and it's not a checkmate, but it will launch an attack on the king side, and your king will be forced to go up the board basically, and it will be an awkward situation. So because of that, you cannot capture as of now, and instead of that, Capablanca plays queen to f3, uh, pro- bringing your queen in up front, trying to defend your king basically. So queen to h4 is played regardless, and d4 by Capablanca, allowing this dark square bishop to assist in the defense of the king, which haven't yet moved yet. So the knight captured the f2 pawn, which actually is a kind of a mistake. The better move was to play h5 over there, and the rook to e2. It's a very good move, a subtle move, which allows the rook to defend the king from on this open e file against the check by black's rook, and it also prevent any discovered attack with a check like this knight taking this pawn, and your rook will be gone as well. So after that, the bishop comes to g4, attacking the queen and the rook at the same time, forcing the capture of this bishop. And after that, this allows the queen space to attack the king basically. So here the queen can come in hand, place the check here, but your knight will be gone. So because of that, the bishop came in here and placed the check, and after the king moves to the only square f1, the bishop goes to g3, supporting the knight, threatening checkmate over here, which forces the rook to capture the knight, and an in between move the check h1, and the king now goes to e2, and after that the bishop captures this particular rook back. So here, as you can see, this bishop, the dark square bishop of Capablanca, is under attack. So if you take his bishop, black's bishop, your bishop will be gone, and the queen will infiltrate the back rank of Capablanca with more threats, and your rook will also be in danger pretty soon. So the bishop goes to d2 to prevent that, and the bishop to h4 by black, and the queen goes to h3 looking for a queen exchange, and an in between move rook comes to e8 and a check, which allows the queen to a space to create another check, and the king moves to c2. So here what happened that these two checks allows Capablanca's king to move into a safe square. It's not it's better now because it's away from the black's pieces. So the bishop now retreats to f2, and the queen comes to f3, and queen goes to g1, unpinning that pin on the bishop, and bishop goes to d5, and the bishop is now placed centrally where it's the most powerful. And as you can see, it commands a lot of space on these light squares on the board, and it's a very powerful piece in the center of the board. And c5 is now played, trying to create an attack on the queen side now with his advanced pawns. So after the capture, the bishop captures back, and immediately b4 by Capablanca, attacking the bishop. So the bishop retrieves, and then a4 is played with the intent of activating this particular rook and bringing it into the game, which also allows you to develop your knight as well. So f5 played by black, and after the pawn capture, the a pawn captures the b4 pawn, and the rook goes to a6, attacking the bishop, and not looking to capture. It creates another threat, captures the pawn, wins a pawn, and the knight captures back, allowing you to activate that knight. And after that, the bishop goes and tries to pin the knight, and Capablanca just didn't do anything. He just pushed his pawn to b6. So when you have this pawns on the 5th or 6th rank, pushing it becomes a real threat. And after the bishop captures the c3 knight, the bishop captures back. Now, as you may remember that earlier in the game, like there were two bishops on attacking the king of Capablanca. Now the position is actually reversed, and both these bishops are eyeing the black's king right now with the support of the rook and the queen as well. So h6 by James Marshall, and Capablanca just continues pushing his pawn to b7, and the rook comes to e3, looking to attack the queen. So here Capablanca just captures the pawn, and this is the stunning move here, because basically here, no matter what you do from here, it's a checkmate, because after if they let's say the king moves to h8, the rook will capture this pawn and the game is over basically. So here the bishop is pinning this particular pawn, so you cannot capture the rook with your pawn, and there is no way nowhere else for this king to go. And even if you from this position, even if you capture this bishop with your rook, it will still be a checkmate like this pawn win queen, and if the check, and the rook will have to close it. And after the check, the king will move away, and after the following series of check, the game will be over. And even if the king moves to h7, the same check will happen like this. So we will go with this checkmate, which is a more beautiful game, and this line is the accepted ending of this particular move. And even though some games show this as the ending move as well, but this one looks a better move for us to see and enjoy the chess game. So the single counter-attacking move resulted in Capablanca winning the match. His king was harassed throughout the match, but he was patient and defended properly, and then counterattacked and won the game. So thanks very much for watching. We'll be back with more such videos.